DC Studios has registered Salvation Run trademark for a film and more. This is Josh Wilding reporting. Peacemaker season 2 ended with Rick Flag Sr. utilizing like Luthor's help in finding salvation, a dimension housed with the quantum unfolding chamber that Argus can send its captured metahumans metahuman villains. Now, able to open direct, randomly placed doorways to that parallel reality, Flag can strand whoever he wants there. They have zero chance of escape. Chris Smith is currently there alone, but noises in the forest suggest that the world is inhabited by some mysterious creatures. The prevailing theory is that Salvation is a new take on Dinosaur Island. In the comics, the Salvation Run storyline saw Amanda Waller send supervillains to an alien planet called Cygnus 4019 via boom tube. It was eventually revealed to be where Desaad was training Darkseid's parademons, and Lex and the Joker each led separate factions of villains who tried to create a new society in a bid to survive their prison. I did actually read this run after Peacemaker Season 2, and it is fantastic, but I have my issues with this idea. Much of that won't make it into the DCU, but a Salvation Run project could still be on the horizon. DC Studios has today registered a Salvation Run trademark for a film. It also includes comic books, printed materials, luggage, athletic bags, clocks, watches, clothing, toys, and entertainment services. Rather than confirming plans for a Salvation Run feature, this is likely James Gunn and Peter Safran making sure their bases are covered for the future. Stories are bound to play out in Salvation down the line, though, especially as we know Gunn is keen to revisit Peacemaker and what's become of the former Task Force X member. That could happen as soon as Man of Tomorrow, but it's when the alternate dimension is full of supervillains that things get really interesting. I like the concept of creating this prison that was absolutely inescapable, but was also a little rash, Gunn said earlier this month, because they think it's not dangerous from their initial tests, but in the comics and in this world, obviously, there's hints of it being dangerous. It really is about the concept, he added, confirming that we're not getting a direct adaptation of the comic based on a pitch from the Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin. The part that really spoke to me was the beginning of it, where Rick Flag Jr. and Amanda Waller said, F it, metahumans are a pain in the ass, they keep escaping, let's just get rid of them permanently. And of course, there are a bunch of repercussions about sending a bunch of bad guys to another dimension. In this case, kind of, the sole person there right now is a good guy who has to survive on his own. Man of Tomorrow, again, July 9th, 2027. So yeah, I did read the Salvation.
Okay, because I haven't.
Storyline. It was after it all, I was like, I need to know more about this. And it's actually genuinely fascinating. Do you remember the end of Justice League Unlimited, where essentially a faction between Gorilla Grodd and Lex breaks out of who's fighting over the Legion of Doom? Yeah. It's kind of like that. You send all of these metahuman or like supervillains to this planet. They realize that they're trapped there. They're pissed off. And you get the Joker on one end who's like, cool, let chaos reign supreme. And some of the villains being on board, and Lex being like, F that. We're going to go home. And he has a bunch of intellectuals that go with him. And then you have Vandal Savage, who just makes a harem and goes, nope, I'm going to go start a cult over here. Screw you guys. And gets a bunch of female supervillains to go follow him as he goes and tries to start a new world order off to the side. And then it becomes like essentially a three-way clash of titans of these like different things, of them deciding how they're going to do this. If we're going to make a boom tube to get home, if we're going to rule on chaos, or if I'm just going to live on my little compound over here. And then they find out that Desaad has been training these parademons. So now they're all scrambling to fight the parademons while this is happening. And then Lex, being Lex at one point, is using some other villains and their powers as human batteries. So kind of like in the Justice League Unlimited, where he used Tala to be like, I don't actually care about you. I just need your powers to get Brainiac. So I'm going to sacrifice your ass. I don't care. It's crazy. It is a fantastic story. Here's my problem. You both, A, kind of need a whole bunch of villains established in order to do this, and we're just starting off with this universe. B, a lot of people die. So it makes more sense to have that either be an Elseworlds thing or be later down the line than to feel like we're doing this already, unless the idea is we're going to hit maximum capacity of villains being shipped off to this place. So it just seems like we are moving it, as fascinating as a story that it is, it just feels too soon for me, is kind of where my mind is at.
Well, that paragraph you read is absolutely nuts. Like, and then the parademons come, and you're like, oh, the parademons, of course, right? you not only have to establish so many characters, but you also have to establish more lore. Because right now we have metahumans are established, but we haven't gotten into the magic stuff in DC yet. We haven't really gotten that much into all of the demonic things in DC. Those are other things that we have to build up to, so we can't just be like, here's a demon, they're coming for you. You got to have a little bit of runway.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. And so, again, I think them ultimately doing it would be fascinating. I mean, you even have a scenario where to make sure the villains don't get out of control, the Justice League sends in Martian Manhunter. So he's like working as a mole in between it, but then they figure it out. And eventually, like, he's running and he's holding off and all that kind of stuff, but they catch him and they put him in a fire prison.
No.
And then they just leave him there. Like, at a certain point at the end, when they're all like running away, they just kind of forget that Martian Manhunter was in that fire prison. They just leave him burning on Desaad's planet in a fire prison. Like, it's crazy. And it sounds,
because John Jones hasn't gone through enough.
He hasn't gone through enough. So again, it would be so good of a story to see. But like, this is the type of thing that like I either would wanted to have seen like during the Snyder run of things, just because you were more established, or just give me some time to get these villains to go, yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then give me supervillain Hunger Games.
100%.
You know? So
yeah. And I don't know. I'm seeing in the chat too. Creature Commandos. Most people did not watch Creature Commandos.
Right.
Most people who go see movies did not watch this. So that's just most of us in our bubble watched it. I know my non-comic book friends did not watch it. I know, again, my litmus test is always my parents. They don't know what the hell that show is. So you have to introduce on screen, the big screen, the concept of all of those things.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. So
I'm going to paint a scenario for you. I want you to picture a bald eagle, which is standing on top of a silverback gorilla, and that's riding on top of a T-Rex. What do you think you call that? You know what you call it? Confidence. Pure confidence. And that's the kind of confidence that you need in the bedroom for that next level wolf riding besides a velociraptor in a Lamborghini through outer space type of experience. You like that? So do I. That is where Rougiette's Go Long comes in. It's not just another ED pill. It's a confidence game changer. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula to help you get hard and go the distance. Hell yeah. Plus, the effects last for up to 36 hours. That means that you can feel confident all day and night, and then some on the next day, too. Getting started, it's simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online at rugiet.com. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? You head on over to rugiet.com. Use my promo code Christian, 15% off your first order. That is rugiet.com. Use that code Christian. Make sure to use my code so they know that I sent you.